for these guys, they have to try and keep their clothes clean for a week or 2 weeks at a time before they can get their laundry done. And so in 2014, and I brought some cobblestone, our infograph, so you guys can kind of see how we served our community, and I'll leave these there for you guys, so you guys can actually share these with your classrooms. But in 2014, we spent 63,600 quarters on laundry. It served over 3,000 people in our 4 locations. But if you think about that, it's not a lot of laundry. And so in the last 2 months, all of our locations have been, I guess, increased around $50 for the location. So that's an extra $200 a month. So we've already spent an extra $400 in the last 2 months. So as you can see that growth is actually increasing. So by the end of the year, we will spend an additional $2,400. So it's a lot of laundry and it's a lot of need for clothes to be clean. And so what Drew is asking to do is for you guys to house our quarter bins. It's got some basic information about Laundry Love. It's for you guys to use in your homeroom. I feel like with it being money and it being set out, that the best way for you guys to do is for homeroom is to possibly just recognize it when you guys go in for a day. As soon as homeroom's done, you guys lock it up or put it in a locked drawer out of the way, and then next homeroom bring it back out, and for a week we can do that with you guys and see who can bring in the most quarters. You know, it's easy for kids to start realizing that small pocket change can add up to an immense amount of dollars for kids and adults to have clean laundry. And so this is what we're trying to do, and Drew would like to supervise this within your school. And if this is something that you guys would be interested in, we could do it starting on Monday. Each homeroom and the faculty rooms could have a coin jar. You guys can have a fundraising event within your school, and then you guys can kind of just rally together and help Laundry Love. So these quarters will go not just directly to Fayetteville, but it will be spread out for all 4 of our initiative locations. So do you guys have any questions or concerns? Yes, ma'am.
The kids ask if they can do dimes or nickels.
Anything. It all totals to quarters. We can just take it to the bank.
That's gonna be out.
Yeah, I know. We can take it to the bank and they'll sort it for us, give us the quarters. So, and just to let you guys know, our entire Laundry Love is run by volunteers. Every month, the same families go to these same locations and meet with these same people. Laundry Love is considered to be a relationship building and a hub for these families. So when families come into these laundromats, they're seeing familiar faces. It's very comforting. It's very relaxed for them, because oftentimes this is considered to be entertainment, where they get to socialize and they get to have a warm meal and they get to feel like they're welcomed and not outcasted. So it's very simple, it's very small, but it makes a big difference for those that we're supporting with our Laundry Love. So I know Drew had kind of mentioned you guys do prizes at the end of who wins. But the prize is that someone gets clean laundry. And so just to kind of encompass what Laundry Love and Cobblestone stands for, we're just restoring hope and bringing dignity to those that don't have it. And I can guarantee that several of your students probably fit into this category, and they kind of understand the importance of what this will be for them. So they also possibly could benefit from this fundraising with their classmates. They don't have to tell anybody, but it's just something that they could probably feel good knowing that their classmates are supporting some of their challenges as well. So get involved with different initiatives and support the community of our homeless and under-resourced members. So I'm going to leave this material with you guys, and those infographics, it shows you how we supported everyone with all of our initiatives. So if that's something you guys want to do, I will bring these on Monday, and you will let me know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, great.
Around
Thanks,
here,
guys.
just want to sign in. And I think that's a great project, and I think that's something, I love it when our students want to take community action, and I think that's a great thing. I want to support it. So we'll put that in the announcements, and hopefully the students will respond and help us out with that project. Grades, they're due tomorrow, okay? Grade book. Make sure that's right. Friday. Right.
I think it's Friday.
Is it Friday?
Friday.
All right. So grades, you know, that's an important thing. Make sure you're trying to get those grades in about once every 2 weeks so you're not surprising people. Also, we need to make sure if people have failing grades right now, we need to start looking at contacting parents pretty soon because, you know, we're getting down the home stretch here, and especially if they're in danger of you know, if they've been failing, if that's been a history for them, because that's something we may have to look at for retention. So we need to start letting parents know that their students are failing, especially if they're special education, 504, we need to have that conversation with them. So make sure that we're getting those in our grade books, and we're doing all that we can to help those students. All right, Mr. McClellan's going to talk to you a little bit about some things that we're doing at the park.
Relatively quiet in the park.
Didn't they bring it before the education committee yesterday at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that a little bit. I'll say something.
I didn't hear what that.
In the meantime, we press forward. Hey, a couple quick updates. First of all, scheduling, the general schedule. You guys received the flip schedule, and I've received just a little bit of feedback from that. Does anybody have any questions about it? Some are more excited than others. But is everybody okay with flip schedule? Any comments, questions, concerns about that? Okay. Proctor groups. I'm getting down to the final part of finalizing those. I'm holding onto those for a little bit to release those. I want to make sure that I get everything worked out as far as schedule and coverage go on those test days before I release those. Important dates, and look at your calendars, make sure that I'm not missing anything, but February 25th, I'd like to do our teacher training that day for park, and I'd like to do it during planning periods. February 25th. I didn't see any conflicts, but if you guys think of one, let me know. And during that teacher training, it's going to be quite a bit different than anything we've done in the past with Benchmark. We're going to be looking more specifically at how to navigate the test map, the platform in which you conduct the test from. There's not as much of the security issues as before, where you have pass things out in spiral order and make sure that everything's counted correctly and turned in correctly and sign the affidavit and whatnot. But now it's shifting to where we need to focus on how do we administer the test using the platform. For those of you that aren't that familiar with the TestNav platform, it's very similar to how MAPS operates as far as setting up testing groups and doing all that. But each teacher that's proctoring a test session will have a proctor computer in their classroom, and that'll be where they monitor the progress of the students. So that way you can see if they've finished their tests on time, or if they whatever, or if they get stalled in the middle of it, or you have to restart it or something like that. So any questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
Have they decided whether the tech people can be in the room with us?
They can be. We just have to have somebody certified in there. It's the same as before.
Okay, just as long
You
as
can have
certified
somebody
person.
classified, but as long as there's a certified person there, you can have that. So. Yes, ma'am.
The 25th, there's going to be a lady from Washington, D.C. from Park in the afternoon, all afternoon, at CIA on February 25th, from 1 to 3:30.
I don't think
We're not going over there, though.
No, we won't, no. But I thought Mr. McClung might.
I'm going.
You're going? Okay.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else see any conflicts with the 25th? Does that work for everybody? At that time, I'm going to do my best to have all the proctor lists and all the rosters out to you, so that you guys can prepare the best for it. Generally speaking, and I've talked to a lot of you about what sessions you'll be testing. If the majority of your day is taken up by either 8th grade or 9th grade, you're more likely going to be proctoring the 8th and 9th grade math and literacy, or algebra 1 and 9th grade literacy. So if you're a 9th grade teacher, algebra 1, 9th grade literacy, 8th grade math, you'll do 8th grade math and 8th grade literacy. Some are geometry and algebra 2 ones, so we're trying to piecemeal those together, and I think we got those covered in the first next round. Any questions about that? All right. One thing I want to show you today, and going back to what we were talking about with the teachers as far as having to navigate the TestNav website, we need to make sure that the kids are ready for that too, because that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. And that would be a real shame to have the kids not perform as well as they can just because they don't know how to operate the system. What I'll be sharing with you later today is a link to a tutorial. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to designate a day during advisory, your available or advisory kids, and go over this the week before CARC starts. So our first test is Algebra 1, that week of March far as the date to hold advisory and go over this with your kids, I'm thinking March 4th.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing.
Is there conflict that day?
It's my birthday, we were gonna have a party.
Well, you can have a party with Mark.
Party with Park, yeah. You know,
It's like a themed birthday party.
There's your thing, yes.
So everybody come down to all that day. But, yes, ma'am.
Projected and talk.
Yeah, if you have technology in your classroom, great, use it. If you do not have that day, then go through it with them. Just make sure that they're familiarized with it. Whatever we believe is the best way to share that with the kids.
are we going to try to do a makeup for kids that aren't here? I mean, some days we have so many absences.
Yeah.
Giving them one shot is,
I mean, outside of holding 2 days, I don't know how we could do a makeup unless we just, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
We're hitting it pretty hard with English too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know they're getting a lot of exposure in English and also with math, with taking the practice test. We just want to try to do one final push to make sure that everybody gets exposed to that before we start the fall.
Do they already have their sign-in information, or when is that provided to them?
No, they did not have their sign-in information yet. What I'll do is the day of the test for your testing groups, I'll print off roster cards for you. It'll have all their information on it. And then as a proctor, I'll also give you your seal code that you'll need to have for the kids to access the test.
And do you have confirmation that they all can listen to it, or is
No.
that false? We've heard both sides of that.
Well,
they're-
yeah, we're not turning that on for everybody, no.
Okay.
And the reason is because if you turn on that feature, it limits the amount of forms on the test dramatically. Normally, everybody has about, I think they said 12 forms of the test, just normal. If you turn on that text to speech, it then bumps down to, I think, about 2 different forms.
Okay. That's what I assumed,
Yeah.
but we heard.
So
both
in order to
sides.
get the best results, we're keeping it open to those, so we have the 12 forms of the test available.
So there'll be no way for them to hear anything except for the videos.
Now, at one point, they were talking about, and I don't know if they've communicated with you at CIA, but we were talking about having established criteria for teachers to submit, or pull, rather. And we were gonna turn on for kids that fell underneath the bottom third. Okay? So we're gonna take that average math indicator, so their past 3 math scores, and average it out. If they fell in that bottom third, we were gonna turn it on for the text-to-speech, so that it'd be available. But we weren't gonna turn it on district-wide. But I haven't had any confirmation since.
you know, for the people who aren't math or English that ask, do they have their login now? This is available 24/7 all the time, has been available. Parents and kids can go in, they can do practice questions, they can do tutorials. You don't have to log in.
Yeah,
There is a
practice if you don't-
plethora of information out there on this site and help for them to, so that it won't be a surprise, the technology. But y'all, it will be a surprise if we don't really encourage them. And we can't help them much with the technology once we're testing.
Yeah, that's the other part of it too, that they informed us at the last part of the training that we cannot tell them how to navigate the screen. So, good luck. Yeah, so they have to be aware of it going into it, because once they get into the session, it's similar to how benchmark was, where you can't really explain anything on it. The navigating the test screen.
Debbie.
I think more specifically what they were looking at is they were looking at the tools, like highlighting tools and things like that.
Yeah.
And one thing that's come up over and over again that I've seen with, that I've heard from some ELA teachers and Cincy is the scroll feature. Okay, so whenever they get in there and they're reading that very long passage, remind them whenever we do this on March 4th or any time, they have to scroll to get through that passage, so that way they don't just, glance over and move on. Because they're pretty lengthy passages, and it's a huge area to scroll. So that's a good reminder for kids. Any other questions? What I'll do later today is I'll send this link out to everyone along with the dates, that way you have them in your email. And I'll just keep you guys updated. So just email me if you have any questions.
Right, and with Park, it's a huge window, and, we're working through things. I think Mr. McClung has a good grasp of it. He's been going to all the trainings and everything. Your patience is appreciated, and we're trying to make it, the best schedule that we can and look at all different things. But for 3 months, there's gonna be.
Oh, and I do want to reiterate too, with the flip schedule, that's only during those 4 big tests. So we're not going to flip for geometry or algebra 2, okay? And then also too, with the reward money that we got, we're going to have enough technology to do 1 testing session in the morning. Originally, we started saying we were going to have an AM and a PM session. It's no more. We're going to have enough that we can test our largest group, which is 395, for math literacy. We can test them all in 1 session. So we'll have enough technology to accomplish that. So when you're looking at that schedule, keep that in mind and basically block off the first 3 periods of the day, or first 2 really. The longest session we have is 90 minutes, which may spill over into
So with that said, there's new legislation in the state legislature right now to block park testing this year. So, and nothing's been decided yet. I keep checking all the commissioner memos every time one comes across to make sure. And so far, I don't think anything's been done yet. We're still discussing it, still looking at it. But what it says is that we would go back to not last year's benchmark, but the benchmark before that.
12, 13.
And you know, I can't tell you, I'm not going to tell you how to feel about political issues or anything like that. But, you know, we've been working really hard and doing a lot to prepare for this park test. But there is a chance that we may have to go back. But right now, we're going to push forward with the park. Okay, we've come this far. We're gonna keep going and try to get our kids ready to take this test. I really think the things that we've been doing in the district and the things that we've been doing in our building, we're as close to ready for it as we can be. And so, you know, a lot of you guys have been working extremely hard to do this, and I hope you don't feel like this is a slap in your face for all your hard work. But you know, keep working hard and keep planning on taking the park test when it comes up here next month. As soon as I know something, we'll let you know, because if we do have to take the benchmark, that changes everything, and so we'll just
cost
keep
a
you updated
fortune.
as much as possible.
It's
On
hugely
what the
expensive.
legislature does on that issue. Okay, anybody have any questions about that? I'm not sure I can answer a lot of questions, but anybody have any questions about it? But we'll keep you updated. Right now, we're pressing forward with park. Okay, that's our plan, and we're going to go that way until somebody tells us different. All right, so CAP is coming up next Tuesday, and now remember, from 4 to 8, we're having CAP conferences here in the cafeteria. The PTO is going to bring some food, so I'll tell them to have it there. Try to have it there in between the end of school and 4 o'clock, so you can grab you a quick bite to eat.
This Tuesday is
Nacho Taco Bar, all right, good. I'm even more excited about that now. So, and for those of you that, last time I was just a little bit unsure, I had to clarify, but those are, we don't have to do parent-teacher conferences. So February 17th, February 24th, those are our evenings, and that counts as your contracted day. And we don't have to come back in late March and early April for parent-teacher conferences. We don't have those at that time. Next Wednesday, Jana is going to have another CAP training to prepare us for 7th grade CAP, okay?
Thursday.
Oh, Thursday, yes. Yeah, sorry. But what we're going to do is right now, unless something just comes up that we need to talk about, instead of we've been having faculty meetings the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays, we're going to skip the 4th Wednesday faculty meeting. Okay, so that way, you know, you're just coming in early 2 times that month. Okay, now if there's something pressing that I need to tell you about, then we'll have it. But as of right now, we're not going to have it. So, also look over the course offerings for 8th grade, just to kind of familiarize yourself with those. We will have a sheet that talks about pre-AP if you have any questions, and I'll go ahead and email that out to you ahead of time. That way you can look at it and just try to answer any questions that you have. You know, as far as the process goes, if you have questions, you can ask now, and I can try to help you. I know Janet, she's working hard on that process. She knows most of the answers, but if you have any questions now, feel free to ask about the whole CAP process. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
This is not a question, but we always tests they can take and studying they have to do, and it is not something where they can just fill out and override. That is
And
not.
we're gonna have sheets there for them to fill out, and then we're gonna give those to Ellen Johnston, and she's gonna talk about the process. And like Ms. Bogart said, there is a big process for them. If they're not in accelerated math in 7th grade, for them to get into algebra in 8th grade, there's a process that they have to go through. They have to take some online classes, they have to pass the test.